don't know what us Red Sox fans did to the baseball gods, but the injuries to this Red Sox team need to stop now, please. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. Another week, another injury to talk about. This time, it's a really big injury to a really big piece of this Red Sox bullpen that's going to leave a massive hole on this Red Sox team. The only good news in this video is that that is not the only move the Red Sox made, and the other move that the Red Sox made last night is going to be one that could have some really interesting effects on this Red Sox team. So, what we're going to do in today's video is we are going to break down this latest Red Sox injury. We're going to talk about who is injured, how long it's going to take for them to get back, what the injury looks like, all that good stuff. And we're going to talk about who's replacing him. We're going to talk about the other move too. We're going to break that down. And we're going to talk about how all of this is going to affect the Boston Red Sox. But before we get into that, just a heads up, tomorrow night on this channel, we are going to be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be checking out the Red Sox taking on the Seattle Mariners. If you haven't been to one of these yet, they are a ton of fun. We watch the game together. We talk Sox together. We answer questions. We do basically whatever you guys want to do in these live streams. They are a ton of fun. So one more time, that is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the bad news first and break down the latest Red Sox injury. The Red Sox have announced that they are going to be putting John Schreiber on the 15-day IL with right lat tightness. The right lat is basically the right side of your back. He's got tightness in the right side of his back. And for those of you who do not know, last night he came into the game and he only pitched about 3 pitches before he was taken out and brought back into the training room. Now, this is honestly kind of better case scenario than I think a lot of people expected. It's certainly not good case scenario, and we'll talk about that in a second. But when he first came out, there was video footage of him really flexing that wrist, and it looks like he was trying to get feeling back in that wrist. And a lot of people were speculating that that could either mean something really bad with his forearm or even possibly Tommy John as well, something that could have kept him out for the entire season. Now, John Schreiber's only put on the 15-day IL, but it's going to be impossible to tell exactly how long he's actually going to stay on that IL until we get more information about the actual severity of the injury, because right now all we have is right lat tightness, and I'm sure by the time you guys are watching this there's going to be more information. That's just how it works when I'm editing these YouTube videos. But either way, lat injuries can last a pretty decent amount of time. It's surprising how often you use your back for day-to-day activities, so it's really hard to rehab that side of your back, especially with the way John Schreiber throws. This could be something that lands John Schreiber on the IL for a pretty extended period of time, but at the minimum right now we're looking at is 15 total days, which is a huge blow to this Red Sox bullpen, obviously, right? So far this year, John Schreiber has a 2.12 ERA in 17 innings with a 3.19 FIP and a 2.23 ERA, which is 123% above league average production. Obviously, John Schreiber was a major structural piece of this Red Sox bullpen. He was one of the biggest pieces of this bullpen going into the season and at the time of his injury. But it's not just the fact that John Schreiber is so good in this bullpen, it's the timing of this too, right? You've got Kenley Jansen, who has been all over the place in his last 2 starts. You've got guys still on the injured list trying to fight their way back, and you've got 6 guys in this rotation right now, which is putting more strain on this bullpen. This is literally the worst time for John Schreiber to go onto the IL, and right now it feels like it's sort of the icing on the cake of the worst week of Red Sox baseball in 2023. Now, obviously, losing John Schreiber is massive, and it highlights 2 things. One, it highlights just how important John Schreiber is to this team and how big of a hole he's going to leave for the entirety of his IL duration, but it also highlights the urgency this Red Sox team needs to have when deciding who's going to be in the rotation or not. You can't have 6 starters in this rotation the entire year, or the bullpen's going to be strained. You're going to see more injuries pop up. Now, John Schreiber is a bit of a different case because he hadn't pitched in 9 days, so it's fairly safe to assume that this has been bugging him for a little bit, and he hasn't thrown a ton of innings this year, but you can't have 6 guys in this rotation and expect the bullpen to stay healthy. On top of that too, you're getting Garrett Whitlock back on top of that, so that's now 7 starters. So the Red Sox bullpen needs reinforcements, and you just have too many people in your rotation. It's time to make a decision that needs to be made as soon as possible to get some fresh arms in this Red Sox bullpen. All in all, this is a rough injury for John Schreiber. It's a rough injury for the Red Sox, and I just personally hope that John Schreiber can get back soon. He really was such a clubhouse guy too in terms of just personality on this Red Sox team. I really hope John Schreiber's only there for 15 days. The other move the Red Sox made last night was to option Brennan Bernardino down to AAA Worcester. Bernardino looked pretty good for this Red Sox team for a pretty decent amount of time. However, over those last 5 outings, he started to wane a little bit. In 4 of those outings, he allowed an earned run, and in 2 of those outings, he allowed a home run. I think the Red Sox just wanted to take a look at some other options and some other arms in this Red Sox bullpen to see if there was a better fit. Plus, Bernardino does have some options left available, so it's not like we won't see Bernardino at all the rest of the year. I think the Red Sox just wanted to explore other options. So, with the massive hole John Schreiber left and now Bernardino not being on the team, what are the Red Sox going to do to solve this? To fill those 2 holes, the Boston Red Sox have called up Justin Garza and Ryan Sherriff from AAA Worcester. Justin Garza was actually acquired recently for the Red Sox. He was picked up off of waivers from the Los Angeles Angels about 2 weeks ago, and he does have some major league experience. He made his major league debut in 2021 with the Cleveland Guardians. He made 21 appearances during that 2021 season, where he had a 4.71 ERA, a 5.30 FIP, and a 92 ERA+. In that season, he rocked a sinker, a cutter, a slider, a changeup, and a 4-seam as well. So far this year in AAA, split between the AAA affiliate of the Angels and the Woo Sox, Justin Garza has a 3.95 ERA in 10 outings with a 1.244 whip and an 8.6 strikeout per 9. So not exactly a super exciting addition to this Red Sox team. I don't know if Justin Garza has a very high ceiling, to be honest with you, but we have seen guys go from not looking fantastic on other teams to looking great in this Red Sox bullpen. So I do have a little bit of hope for Justin Garza, but I don't really have an opinion either way as to how he's going to impact this team. I think the biggest reason for that is because he's probably not going to be with the Red Sox for very long. With Cutter Crawford coming back on Friday, Justin Garza seems to be a stopgap in the meantime. As for the other guy who was called up, that could be a bit of a different story. The other person called up, like I said, is Ryan Sherriff. Now, Ryan Sherriff has had a bit of major league experience so far in his career. He had some time with the St. Louis Cardinals, and most recently, his latest appearance at the big league level was with the Tampa Bay Rays. And that was again in 2021, where he had a 5.52 ERA, but a really low FIP compared to his ERA at 3.65. So that's indicating that there was a bit of unluckiness in Ryan Sherriff's total ERA's number in 2021, and he had a 75 ERA plus, which is about 25% below league average production. Again, so far this year with the Worcester Woo Sox, he has a 3 even ERA in 15 appearances with a 1.33 repeating whip, and he is yet to allow a home run. So that's pretty good news. On top of that too, this is a guy that I think a lot of Red Sox fans wanted to see after he had a really great spring training. And honestly, this is a guy who I'm really curious about. The reason I'm so curious about what Ryan Sherriff can do is, 1, the outlying peripheral statistics do look pretty good on Sheriff's numbers. 2, you've got Richard Bleier, who's kind of stinking it up right now. Brennan Bernardino is really tapering off, and you don't really know what you're going to be getting from Joely Rodriguez after he comes back from the IL. We have yet to see him make an appearance. So there is a legitimate chance Ryan Sherriff could make a name for himself on this Red Sox team. As opposed to Justin Garza, who I believe is just a stopgap type player, Ryan Sherriff should be able to get some decent opportunities here within the next week or so to really see if he can gel with this Red Sox squad and be that reliable lefty that we've kind of been waiting on for this entire year, right? Joely could be that guy, Sherriff could be that guy. I don't know if Bleier could be that guy at this point, but with Ryan Sherriff, I'm a lot more interested in seeing how he does at the major league level for this Red Sox team, because like I mentioned, he had a really great spring training. In spring training this year for the Red Sox, did not allow a single run in 6 2/3 innings. He struck out 8 guys and held his opponents to a 222 average. That's a guy who could possibly be a bolster to this Red Sox bullpen in the absence of John Schreiber. All in all, I think losing John Schreiber with the state of this Red Sox bullpen and just who he is in general is dreadful for this Red Sox team. And like I said, it's kind of the icing on the cake for just one of the worst weeks the Red Sox have had in 2023, and it just sort of made sense with how this week was going. I really hope for John Schreiber's sake and for the Red Sox sake, he is back and healthy as he can possibly be. Bernardino, I really just kind of think the Red Sox wanted to see if there was any other better options in the bullpen, and so that's where I think Ryan Sherriff's going to come in. I don't really have any true opinion on Justin Garza because, again, I think he's a stopgap. Ryan Sherriff's really, to me, the most interesting part of these moves. I want to see what he looks like at the major league level. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the latest injuries to this Red Sox team? What did you think of John Schreiber going down? What do you think of them optioning Bernardino? And what do you think of the guys they called up to replace them? Let me know all your thoughts on the latest injury news in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, we are going to be live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern on this channel. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.